All right.
All right, teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the #1 podcast on innovative teamwork and the first one being done in a random Starbucks in Orlando. Seeing that, I'm on my way to the Creator Fest, and I have some incredible people that come on the show, and I don't like rescheduling. I think it's very unprofessional, especially when I'm supposed to be the host. When I'm supposed to be the host of the #1 show on innovative teamwork. I got time for all that rescheduling bullshit, man. Keep everything organic. So, to my regular listeners, you've become accustomed to this now. You know how I get down. You know the way you roll, the way we roll over here in the Move Swiftly world. When you hit the play button, you get nothing but gems, nothing but incredible people with incredible stories that just give you the opportunity or give you something along their lines that's going to make you better. That's going to make it so your moment gets a little bit better. Miss Kareen Aristide has reinvented a concept. Now, you guys have heard a lot of different concepts, a lot of types of entrepreneurship sayings. I myself do a wintrepreneur thought every single Wednesday. She has actually is coming on with a brand new term, and she calls it parentpreneur, mother of five. You heard me correctly. I'm not sure if there's any more, but mother of five who is absolutely killing the game, doing her thing. And, anybody out there with excuses and parents with excuses, the ones that like to use excuses, all of that's going to be eradicated by the end of today's show. So all that being said, Kareen, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure. And no, there will be no more kids. My youngest is 18 and
Yeah.
I'm done.
I
I've been
wasn't
done.
I wasn't actually implying anything on that. But yeah, thank you for clearing that up for us. Because five is a lot. I'm still actually myself in the finding a wife phase of life, but
Okay.
I do aspire to be a parent, and a lot of the work
Yeah.
you do resonates so much with me being, I was born here, but my family's from Trinidad and Tobago. I was really raised by a lot of strong Caribbean women with that island
Mhm.
mindset of going out, getting it, not about excuses. And
Yeah.
regardless of how much the cards may be stacked against this particular group of people, you don't hear
Yeah.
excuses, you just hear work, get it done, figure it out. So the best place to start off the conversation is just kind of talk a little bit about your background, how you came up,
Yeah.
how you grew up, and things of that nature, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Absolutely love that. So, since you're so passionate about this parentpreneur thing,
Very passionate, yes.
yeah, because I have many stories. So
Was
let me.
that an actual TED talk, or was that a talk like that you did for a Toastmaster or something like that? Because it had the feel of a TED talk, but it didn't seem the red dot wasn't there.
Yeah, so basically, it was part of my final step in my expert speaker training.
Ah,
So
okay.
so it was basically the final step where we all went on stage before
Mhm.
200 plus people, and they did the
Sure.
professional video and all of that. So, and then we use this as a signature talk that we share. So yeah,
Good.
that's how
Did
that
something
came
similar
about.
with Toastmasters. That's why I was asking.
Uh-huh, yeah. So yeah, so basically I was very career oriented. I started my career pretty young. I was in my early 20s. I
Now,
also get married very young
did you grow up like go to school in the States, or was it in Haiti?
in Canada, actually.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So I was 23 when I got married, and I was really very career oriented. And I became a parent quite quickly. My husband and I conceived that 3 months into the marriage. And
Right,
so I was so not ready to
right,
be a mother because I was very focused on my career.
right.
2 months into his life, my son was handed off to my mom so I could go back to work.
Oh, really?
So yes, so
Oh,
I
okay.
really loved my job, let me tell
Okay.
you. I used to, yeah, and it was really something that kind of hit hard, like when it came to motherhood. And so and then when I had my second child, when I was pregnant with my second child, we moved to another city and no one would hire me because I was pregnant. So
Yeah.
I was really devastated, and I did not want to be a stay-at-home mom. Just no offense to any of you who are,
Right.
but it was so beyond what I saw for myself.
Right.
And so, but that's how I kind of stumbled on this whole world of women, continuing being active and having their career
Yeah.
and their kids as well. And so that was like, yes, this is me.
Right.
And that's how I became an entrepreneur,
Right.
a mompreneur,
Mhm.
because of my children. If it
Right.
wasn't for them, I don't think I would have discovered the world of entrepreneurship.
Now,
And
one of the
so,
things that you mentioned, and I'll let you continue, but I want to make sure we give the listeners context in this as well, is you had mentioned uh trying to do a lot of MLMs, a lot of network marketing
yes,
companies, whether it's Mary Kay and a ton of others, and I myself have tried quite a few. Kind of speak a little bit too on how that can lead to entrepreneurship as well, because even though it's not may not be the product you're personally creating, you can learn the sales process, the training, the development, and then being a stay-at-home mom becomes a career. I guess it's not anything, there's nothing to look down upon if you're a stay-at-home mom that's listening to this. You can do things, God can bless you with an idea, you can see your kid do this and boom, something hits you and all of a sudden, bam, you've made it. So
exactly. And for me, multi-level marketing is actually what was sort of like a stepping stone towards creating something from scratch. Because again, I was very career oriented, and
mhm,
entrepreneurship was a very foreign concept to me. And
mhm,
so when I started doing these multi-level marketing businesses, it opened my eyes to what I was capable of, and I later um, coined have your kids and business too, and so
I remember hearing that. I love that you dropped the mic. You dropped the mic with that line. The crowd. And guys, I encourage you to go out and look it up, listen to it, because we're talking to two people that listen to it. If you haven't listened to it, just go look it up. She dropped the speech, dropped the mic with that, and everyone's like, love it. Have your kids, have your business, and have your kids and have your business.
So yeah, so for me, like it actually became very, very strong when I was introduced to Mary Kay, because first of all, I makeup was not my thing, but their slogan, which was enriching women's lives, really caught my attention. And that's how I discovered the leadership that I had. I built a team of over 30 women, and some of them also became sales directors under me. So that was a huge aha moment for me. And from there, after I gave birth to my fifth child, I started building, companies from scratch. And that's what helped me to actually be there for my kids and
Wow.
make sure that they grow up the way that my husband and I wanted them to be as humans.
Wow. I love that you share that because so much too often do network marketing MLM people, quote unquote, get a bad rap. And too often
Mhm.
we get looked at as if we're just those salespeople that selling whatever. And there's this element that if I went to school, I'm above that and things like that. And you debunk that myth. And I'd love for you to hear any stories or anything that you'll be willing to share in regards to some of these ladies that have started to work for you or start working with you, how difficult their situations were and how just selling some, makeup was able to change their lives because they looked at it beyond makeup. This is me going out and selling for my family. This is me going out selling to put food on the table and things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many stories
That's
I
like
could
the
tell,
two
but
because I know that one could take you probably to the next 2 hours.
that's exactly. But I do want to share, there's one particular
Yes.
woman that I encountered that was doing Mary Kay, and um, I became a sales director in 3 months, which is something that is crazy in the
No, was
industry.
that the like the second one you did, or like was it Mary Kay after you did other MLMs and tried them, so you kind of knew what the process was? Okay.
It was after, yeah, I did a few of them. Excel
All
is
right.
one of them that later became Amway or Amway. I can't remember whichever.
I'm
But
still
yeah, so I
technically
did.
an IBO with them, so I know it's no, it's
Oh,
not.
there you go.
You're thinking of excess.
Oh, I am
Yeah.
okay. I
It's
don't know.
excess. Yeah,
Like some
excess.
of.
Actually, they're gonna be a sponsor at the event I'm going to. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're gonna be
Okay,
the excess energy drink is gonna be a sponsor there. So they're gonna be around, man.
okay, that's good because some of them they start like a bomb, but then they die down.
Yeah.
I did Herbalife as well.
Yeah.
I did a whole bunch of
Man,
different
we
things.
got a lot. I'm a fitness guy, so Herbalife was big. That's a
Oh,
big one too.
yeah, I believe very much in
Yeah.
multi-level marketing. I really do because especially if I believe in the products
Mhm.
and the relational aspect of it
Right.
is just phenomenal. Personal development that comes from it as well is I love it. But Mary Kay really came to really pull out the leader in me, you
Okay.
know? And so just to talk about this young woman,
Yeah.
so she um had been in Mary Kay for a long time and
Mhm.
was pushing towards becoming a sales director. And it was very difficult for her because seeing somebody like me just coming in and just, becoming a sales director so quickly,
Jealousy. There's some
um,
jealousy going on there. That's
it
natural.
she took a hit. Like her self-esteem definitely took a hit, but she did not she persevered, she kept going, and this developed in her a resilience that is just extraordinary, which, to make a long story short, led her into becoming a prominent TV cast, in a television show
Really.
locally, you know,
Wow.
and she became very well known
Mhm.
all over the province,
Yeah.
and she credits, her resilience and her ability to get to the top that where she is now
Mhm.
to her Mary Kay career, you
Right.
know? So there's so many of these stories that show that it's not just about making money when it comes to this understanding of what multi-level marketing can do. It
Right.
can actually um, I like to say, ignite the giants in you,
Exactly.
that you never even knew was there,
Exactly.
right? And so, absolutely, I recommend it
Mhm.
to anyone who
Right.
wants to start in business to start because it's a plug and play. Like there's no better way to start a business, right?
Exactly.
Apart from franchising or something like that, it's plug and play, very little startup costs. You put in what you want to put in. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's nothing like it.
And the thing again, I'm glad that you're mentioning this because you're talking from first person experience. You're talking in terms of you actually lived through this. And I was listening to you before, and there was a point where you decided you were going to give up school. Like there was a point where it's 15, I believe you said like 15 years later, you were able to get your PhD, but you're 39 years old and you're in class with probably young 20-year-olds and things like that, where it's so easy to say, look, a school ain't for me. I'm just going to drop out. Can you talk a little bit about that journey? Because what I hear a lot in my line of work as an educator myself is a lot of mothers who make the excuse of because I had the kid, all right, I'm just going to be done with school and I'm just going to work and all. And then they just kind of give up on things. And I think your story is a real inspiration for a lot of these ladies to say, shut that shit up, man. Just go register. Maybe if it's one class, maybe it's an hour, do something, but don't let the kid be some excuse for you not going and getting your degree, your paper, or whatever it is you are pursuing before you had the kid.
Absolutely. And it's also good for the kids to see that,
Amen. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. And so when I realized that um I needed to go back, it was in a season where it was a very low point. Like I had just got into the car accident, discovered you know, that I needed some soul care and all of that, and just
Eh,
going through that
Well, not to
experience.
not to cut you off, but I want to give some context in terms of this car accident. There was a
Mhm.
there was a horrific accident. I don't even feel like you should actually have to relive because it was one of those things where you had whiplash, you had things, and I wouldn't even
Hey,
in that situation.
I
But
talk about it all the time, so
the
it's part of my story.
takeaway from me when I heard that story was when your husband came to you, someone who aspires to be a husband myself, and said, "Look, babe, we're not going to let you do these meetings anymore. We're not going to let you overwork yourself anymore. Not only for you, but because I love you, but because of our kids' lives and things like that." And then what became of that was now, like you said, waking the giant within. Let's go get it. Life is now. I mean, you don't want to take the life for granted. Let's go get this degree. Let's do all that. So again, I want to make sure we gave some context as well with that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because a lot of the times, and it's unfortunate, but many people get to these life-altering decisions when a crisis happens, you know, and this is where I find it hard, you know, to how can I say, to sometimes it's harder to get people to that place without the hardship, without hitting the wall, you know? So I love to share my story so that people can get into, you know, seeing it's possible without having to go through what I went through in order to get there. And so there's an aspect of choosing yourself, I like to say, you know, because sometimes we think that we're living for ourselves, but we're all actually living for other people. Or sometimes I like to talk about plagiarizing. So we plagiarize other people's existence, you know, instead of really making sure that we're living from the inside out and that our purpose is actually being actualized, right? So for me, having this car accident, realizing that, you know, the importance of soul care, I realized that, okay, and made me think, you know what? I love this psychology stuff, you know, when I was a young,
Okay.
you know, I remember, you know, being in a religion class and we had to, you know, write our story like in
Huh.
20, 30 years, you know, what will
Yeah.
be. And I wrote psychologist. And
Oh,
at
really?
that
Oh, so
moment,
you had it written. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't. I
I
guess
did.
that's part of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
I have a little video actually that shares the story of
Yeah,
that,
I
the
guess I
whole
missed that as I
story.
was listening. I missed that part of it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll
Why
send
we're
it to
here.
you.
That's why we're here.
So to make a long story short, it's that aspect of honoring, you know, that little girl that
Yeah.
had this dream, right? And
Mhm.
it was like, yeah, like this is something that kind of resurfaced out of a tragedy. So that's how God does it, you know, he changes the bad into good all the time. And
Right.
so that's when I decided to go back. And the thing is, I had I was majoring in sociology, anthropology, and I had maybe a year left. And so when I came back, I asked to switch
Right.
to psychology, honors in psychology, and you know, I had to write a letter explaining, you know, my situation and all of that so they could
Yeah.
get me back in and credit some of those hours so
That's what I
that
was gonna
I
ask
didn't
you.
have to
The credits.
redo the whole thing, you know?
Right.
And so it took me 5 years, you know, and I'm not even at the PhD yet, this is my trajectory. I'll probably be a PhD at 60, but who's counting? But
Exactly.
the thing is, yeah, so that was the bachelor's degree. It took me 5 years. I
Mhm.
started in 2015. I continued, you know,
Mhm.
doing my thing, also taking classes part-time. And then in 2020, this is when, well, in 2019, I said, okay, I'm going to stop everything else and
Mhm.
I'm just going to do it full time, get it done, you know? And I overloaded all my classes and I was like, I had no life, you know? For that 1 year, I just ate, sleep, study.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I did it, you
Yes, you
know?
did it. Right. Right.
And you know, everybody was behind me. My whole family, was supporting me in it. And yeah, so it was huge to walk on that stage,
Yeah.
knowing that through, crazy circumstances, I made this happen.
So walk us through a little bit of the day to day, because I'm trying to picture what the household was like as your kids are getting older. They're going through school themselves, right? Your
Mhm.
husband and you're starting to support each other. Or you guys are now in this space where you're at least servicing other parents. You're running a business
Yeah.
and you're studying so hard. How did you make it through a day? Just out of curiosity, how were you able to make it through a day with all of these moving parts that kind of went
That's
into
right.
maybe I can only imagine what a week must have felt like in that household.
Well, okay, let me tell you this. My husband is like the best human that
Mhm.
exists. And he's always been a lot he was always a better father before he was a good husband. So
Good. Yeah.
like
That's
he
all.
he had the father thing down packed. So
Mhm.
I didn't have to worry about, like taking care of the kids, quote unquote, because
Mhm.
he was the one who was cooking anyway,
Oh,
and
awesome. There you go.
there was a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of things that, you know, he would do. I didn't have to worry about it, right? So
Right.
yes, there's some things that, no one can replace a mother, but at the same time, when the father is present and he's really holding up, his side of the bargain, and
Yeah.
it's about his kids. In French, we call it papa poule, which is like he's
Yeah.
like a hen, with his
Yes.
kids, right?
The
And
man is
so
the
for me,
help me. Amen to that. Come on, brother. Shout out
yeah,
to
I
us.
mean,
And it opens doors. Like
it's
good
a blessing to me
opens
because
doors.
I know it's not the same thing for
Yeah.
a lot of men. I credit my mother-in-law
Yeah.
for that. She taught her sons how to take care of our home, how to
Great
cook,
to
how to
hear.
not the cleaning part, but that's okay.
Hey,
So
hold on now. You
basically,
can't be perfect. Can't be perfect now. Come on. You
yeah,
gotta take
perfect,
it.
exactly.
Come on, gotta give us baby steps now.
Yeah,
Come on.
yes. We'll take what we get, and what I got was awesome.
Right.
So basically, that took a whole load off, right? And then the other aspect is the prioritizing, because yeah, like I was superwoman syndrome, savior complex,
Mhm.
like overachiever. I had it all.
Right.
So I needed to make sure that I didn't get back into that space.
Mhm.
I needed to pause different things so that I could focus on the schooling, you know. Sometimes it's easy to juggle different things at the same time, but other times it is suicidal. So
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you're able to do that, and that's where systems come in and delegation comes in,
Yeah.
right? So this is where I learned, to really crucify some
Mhm.
parts of me that was reluctant to really do that, because
Right.
a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of moms have trouble doing that, delegating or creating systems that allows them to really not be present all the time and being over everything and and so that's a huge part of what will allow someone to excel in something like school or whatever
Right.
endeavor they need to further their career. You
Okay.
can't do it all. So you
Right.
need to make sure that you're under I like to talk about harmony instead of balance,
Mhm.
because it's like a it's like a musical ensemble. Like sometimes they all play together. Sometimes, it's the saxophone that's going to have a solo and everybody else that's how I see
Yeah.
it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speak on a little bit about how you're able to serve, how you guys are serving people now, because I'm assuming that you left Mary Kay and you were able to branch off on your own and build these systems and service these families and stuff like that. What are you guys
Yeah.
like able to do now, like when it comes to the current, given everything you've already lived through and stuff like that? How are you like nailing down a specific service for people now?
Yeah, so we've branched off into human behavior now, specifically uh, training and coaching and consulting people with the DISC model of human behavior specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because self-awareness is really the bottom thing that creates success to me,
Right,
you know. If you don't know yourself and you don't understand other people and how to better work together, you're not going to be successful, you know.
right,
Any vision cannot be accomplished without, you know, having a team, you know, have being collaborative, you know, knowing how to deal with people, you know.
right,
People are more important than things, right? And so we focus on helping people to really hone that aspect of relational, of being a relational being, of being before doing, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
Got to
and
become
then
right.
yeah, right, and then really living according to your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
because this is where life is. You know, you're not living if you're just existing. You know, you
Right,
need to thrive, and the only way to thrive is to really have that sense of, okay, I know who I am, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I know what I need to do in order to get to where I want to go, right?
right.
And so we work with individuals, we work with organizations, we also work with families as well. I have two of my kids that are also certified uh, DISC human behavior
Oh,
consultants.
there
And
you go.
so, yes, absolutely. I have three that are entrepreneurs as well. And so,
Right.
probably, you know, everybody will have some sort of entrepreneurial endeavor.
I'm
And
wondering. I
yeah,
think I'm wondering where they get that from, though. I'm wondering.
my daughter has
Uh-huh.
taken off. She
Yeah.
is an artist,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's taken off. She's got a 114,000 TikTokers, people following her on TikTok, and I'm like, I'm not even at that level, you know. It's just,
So you guys are still located in Canada?
yeah.
Okay.
But we just opened the branch in the States actually. So we just opened an LLC, and we're just starting to work with people in the United States as well.
Okay. And what would be the best if somebody's listening in and they want to hear more, whether it's a family, a parent, business owner, anything like that? What would be the best way for people to get in touch with you and reach out? Where do you normally send them?
Yeah, so KareenAristide.com. You get it all there. I also have a sleekbio.com/Kareen Aristide. That's where you'll get all my socials. So
Okay.
if you're more into social media, you'll get me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and all of that will be included in the show notes as well. So, well, first of all, thank you for, the
You're
adjustments and
welcome.
making sure everything was straight. Again, this is what I do on this show. I don't bullshit you. I give it my all every single time I put this mic on.
Great.
So, all that being said, the way I close out all the shows is I want you to use your imagination a little bit. You are back to younger version of Kareen, and you just had a baby, you made the difficult decision of dropping out of school, you got another one, and now you really are away from your dreams. Things are just looking like, look, I'm not moving the way I want to move. Pretend that that young woman has come into the Zoom room, give her some words of encouragement, and we'll officially close.
Okay. That's good. So I would tell her everything has a timing,
Mm,
and I would tell her to enjoy this gift of motherhood, and also do whatever she can to develop that part of her that needs to be stimulated and that needs to allow growth and development. And
mhm.
so, as either through a hobby or a multi-level marketing
Yeah,
business,
we say that's gonna move.
anything that can keep her going and at the same time enjoy her family, because those kids they grow so fast. So you want to enjoy every single moment of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if there's anybody in that situation, I close out the show with that question specifically to talk directly to you so you understand you're not alone. The many days, many moments out there in which you can feel alone and helpless. This is what we're here to do. We're here to serve you so you know you're not alone and you're not going through it alone. Just continue to be positive and continue to push forward. So all that being said, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye.